Right, we are live. Let me just double check on the Facebook page that this is running.
Oh yes, it is live on.
It's live. Can you see it?
I can see it. Waving myself. I'm guessing it's a bit behind.
Yes, I think there's a delay, so that's why it's maybe.
I wonder.
It's definitely live. Okay, perfect.
We're off.
Let me try and get. Hold on. Let me try and get the link. Let me see if that's working now. If I can get the link, and I can share it to people to bring them in and help people tune in. Nah, I can't seem to get a link.
I am sharing on our Facebook page now.
How can you share it?
So see the button that says share.
Oh, maybe that's where I'm going to find the link as well.
So the wee button that says share, then there's loads of different options.
Right, let me see if I can get that shared. Yeah, you can tell that I'm a proper tech tad. Right. I'm struggling to get this thing shared and find the link. I think we're just going to dive into this and forget this part of it. But
on ours and on our page as well. So
we're definitely live. I'm just not able to share this thing for some reason. But listen, if you're tuning in, welcome to the show, episode 1. Please listen. If you're watching the video, please drop a comment below. Let us know that you can see us, you can hear us, because this is a new software, and we've got a like so far. So I think that somebody can definitely hear and see us. It's a new software. I'm just kind of ironing out some creases and making sure this thing's actually working. So comments below, like it, please share it, and let us know that you're tuning in and you can hear us okay. Today, I've got Peter and Paul with us, who are two of my good mates from PK Fitness. They've been training people for a long time, been through their own transformation journeys, and we're going to be talking about how to get motivated and stay motivated to get in shape, to work out, be consistent during lockdown. Peter is really handsome. Yeah.
thanks.
By Peter.
And I'm younger.
Written by Peter. So if you have been struggling with motivation, if this is something that you feel has been a challenge for you, if you're struggling to get motivated to work out, to eat better, to maintain consistency during lockdown or in any situation, I know you're going to find this really, really helpful, because this is something I see popping up quite a lot, hence why I wanted to do the first live on this topic. And there's a big difference between motivation and enthusiasm. And we're going to talk about those things. We're going to talk about how your energy can affect your motivation and your enthusiasm and your consistency in working out, how to improve your energy through sleep, hydration, nutrition, and then some actual strategies in terms of working out as well. I'm going to put this one over to Paul and Peter, because I'm going to look at the tech side again and see if I can share this on my other Facebook page for like a couple of minutes. But Peter, what's your take on this, mate? Like, give me your views on motivation and working out, and what do you think some of the challenges are that you see for people, and how to overcome those.
So I would say the biggest thing, what I would say is the place where people go wrong with this kind of type of thing is they get so enthusiastic about the initial couple of weeks of training. In fact, probably even the first week or two. And then when that enthusiasm starts to kind of dwindle away, that's when we kind of fall off track, and that's when we're looking for these external kind of motivators, and they're just really hard to keep going through that cycle of being so motivated for a week or two, and then it kind of just kind of falling off a wee bit, because that excitement, that initial willpower and enthusiasm just kind of starts to dwindle down a wee bit. That's probably where the problems come in, where you need to like force yourself to do all these things.
And that's an important point that you mentioned, right? So you mentioned like enthusiasm, and then people looking for like external motivators. Enthusiasm and motivation are completely different things, and I think people confuse that, and they feel like we always have to feel that enthusiastically in order to stay consistent and keep going after it. And we'll talk about some strategies that will help you stay consistent and make your transformation journeys, your fitness journeys, or whatever, more realistic from the get-go, so that you can keep up with it longer term. But it's important to know that the enthusiasm is going to come and go. Like sometimes it will be here, and that might be, I find people get started for a lot of reasons. For me, working with majority, in fact, all my clients are men now. I don't have any female clients at all anymore, but it's mostly men that come to work with me. It can be ranging from things where, they realise that their energy's so low, they're struggling to run about with the kids after work and stuff like that, and they need to do something about it. From getting out of the shower one day and looking in the mirror and going, this has totally snuck up on me. I've let this shit go too long. Let's sort this out. And that will spark off some initial motive, right? That's your motivation for change, whether it's you want to feel better about what you see in the mirror, whether it's to be healthier, to have more energy and run around with your kids and your family. Paul will know all about this stuff. We'll get into Paul's challenges in a minute with his two young men.
I need to get into it.
But I mean, that's your motivation for change. Those are the reasons why you want to achieve a certain result. The enthusiasm is something completely different, and that's going to come and go. And if we are relying on that enthusiasm to show up and do what's necessary in order to achieve that outcome, the reason, the motive we started in the first place, then we're only going to do what's required probably around 50% of the time. What we have to get better is, one, understanding that that's going to come and go, and that's normal, even for like the most motivated people people who are really fit and have been doing this for years, and you have these beliefs about them, about how disciplined and motivated and stuff they are. They don't always feel motivated. I don't always feel motivated. There's plenty of times, especially through the winter, where I'm like, man, I'm really not up for getting in this ice box of a garage gym, and my dumbbells are all caught wet with condensation. They're like icicles. I need to wear gloves to lift the things. I don't feel like it, but like I'm going through the motions. I'm getting it done. What's that, mate?
That sounds like the way your gym was in the winter. Summer. Actual gym.
in the summer in Glasgow. Yeah, and so that's super important to understand that first. But there are plenty of things that are also going to affect that enthusiasm, right? So it's like there are things within our control that are going to affect our moods to want to work out, our energy, for example, and the things that affect our energy, like your sleep, your hydration, the stuff you're putting in your body. Because if you're sleep deprived, if you're low on energy because you're putting crap in your body, you're not getting enough sleep, you're not drinking enough water, you're very rarely going to feel enthusiastic about training. Yeah, that was cue to drink your water.
Yeah.
You're very rarely going to feel enthusiastic about training. So these things are going to have a massive impact on that, and especially being in lockdown, right? Where a situation where we're all kind of more stressed than the norm.
Yeah, I did. I made a note before I came on here, Dean. Prepared.
In case you forget what we're talking
in case
about.
I forget. I did write that the motivation thing and that enthusiasm, I feel like it is the same before lockdown, kind of the way you said it, and the motivation thing.
Sorry.
You messing with me?
Nope, didn't mean it.
So motivation, the enthusiasm is the same before lockdown happened. It just so happens that things have been heightened. The stresses of being in lockdown heighten this kind of stuff, and maybe it's my laptop that's doing the noise.
It's not. It's me trying to share it, and it's like the video's playing. So I'm just going to stop that now.
Just try to wing me up.
I'm trying to share the video, but it's like I've given up.
But I do find that there is good days. There's days when you will feel motivated. There's days when you don't feel motivated. You don't want to train, but that's going to be there whether we're in lockdown or not. I feel like it's the same. If you're in lockdown, the stresses are different, but you still don't feel like training some days the same as when you're out of lockdown. And your reasons for it have to come from something else to get you moving that day.
Yeah. So when you say like it has to come from something else, do you mean like there has to be some sort of kind of leverage, a deeper motive for showing up?
I would say so. For me, I need to think about how I actually feel once I've actually trained. So I feel I've got more energy after I've trained. I'm less stressed, less worried about stuff. I can focus on other stuff more. I have more energy to run about after Ollie and Max, which is, I probably need more energy for that than actually training. But all that stuff comes from me actually ticking the box and maybe getting a wee bit of a sweat on or lifting some weights for however long. Just has a knock-on effect on the rest of my day. The same way if I've not trained for a couple of days or I've not been out on my walks or anything like that, I can start to get right irritated easy and annoyed and frustrated and just less of a nice person, I would say. Not that happens that often, but you just get a wee bit, everything just kind of builds up and then you just need to let it out some way, especially when things have been heightened away. You're stuck in a house working from home or your nurseries are being shut for me, just all that different stuff, and you're all just confined to the same area to do everything basically. But I feel much better after I've had a wee bit of a sweat and then I can just crack on with my day.
Yeah, I think that's important as well, and that can often take a perception shift and how you're looking at this. Like from being a coach, and you would have seen this plenty of times as well. I find a lot of people look at exercise solely as a way to, lose fat. Although, like, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Like, that's why a lot of people get into it in the first place, because they want to improve the image of their body, their confidence, and how they feel about themselves. But when you're looking at this as something that you have to do because you're fat or you're skinny, or and you're looking at it as a chore and a grind, rather than something that enhances your life, rather than something that's going to make you a better person, that's going to improve your moods, it's going to make you feel better about yourself, it's going to improve your confidence, it's going to improve your energy, not just your physical energy, but your energy around other people. And we know that, right? Like you're talking about how getting your training done consistently, it almost acts like a kind of pre-medicine. So to speak, it makes you a better dad, you're less grumpy, etc. And I've been there, I've been a right grumpy bastard around my children, to put it lightly. When I we did say we're live. Watch the swearing. But when I first left the army, like that was a struggle for me mentally, and I know, like, when I don't look after myself, my physical health, my training, my mental health also suffers, and I'm not a very good guy to be around. So for me, training isn't just, and whether that's a 20-minute workout or a 60-minute workout, right? It's not just for changing the shape of my body, and it's not just a vanity thing, although those things are great bonuses. It's also for making me a better person. It's also for keeping my mental health a bit grounded, and it just I feel like it keeps me right.
Mm-hmm. I think as well, it's definitely, and I think it's exercise. I would say myself and you, physical exercise has been part of nearly every part of my day since, I don't even know what year, 2002 or 2003, and even before that, before I joined the army.
You joined around about the same time as me then?
It's been like a constant. There's always been some form of exercise involved, different forms, but it's always been there. So when it's away, or if I miss a few days or stuff like that, and then it does build up. It's like part of my routine. It's part of my day, part of my lifestyle, and it just ticks the boxes, and I do feel more energy and, like you said, a better person when I've been training and exercising. So it's not just about, it is about being strong, but it's not being about the strongest person or anything like that. But for me, it's just it ticks the box, and I feel much better and nicer to be around.
Yeah, there's Tam. How's it going, mate? Tam Clark's watching the video. Tam's commenting. He's relating to a lot of the stuff that we're talking about. Good to hear from you, Tam. Yeah, Peter, how's this?
See you later, Dean.
He's left.
Dean's left. So, Peter, how has this been for?
How did you get back in?
Is it still?
Yeah, Dean.
I'm back. I'm having a mare with this technology. Do you know what? I swiped across my Tam's laughing. I swiped across my little, the mouse pad, and it just took me out. Took me out. Okay, yeah. So Peter, how's this for you, mate? What's the reasons that you train? What's the reasons that you make time to train?
So I would say mine is a wee bit different from you guys. You are obviously dads, have different responsibilities from me. I kind of started this whole fitnessy type thing from being pretty overweight to then just going through that constant battle of trying not to be fat, basically. So I've just kind of constantly been going through this for however many years. But then once I became, it was always, I didn't want to be the fat guy. I didn't want to be the fat friend, the fat one out of the group, blah, blah, blah. Then I switched. I kind of slimmed down, got myself into better shape, became a personal trainer. So now my focus was then, I don't want to be the fat personal trainer. I don't want to be the guy giving out advice that can't even get in shape himself. So that's where my motivation comes from. That's where my why comes from. And even to this day, I'm still fighting all those kind of other bad habits that I used to have. Sometimes they still creep in. Sometimes I'm still battling with them, but that's my motivation's a wee bit different. To be the energy, the feeling good and stuff does come with it, but mine is more just trying to be in shape for the job that I have and trying not to go back to my old ways. So that would be my motivation, is basically trying not to go back to being a big fatty. Yeah,
that's and again, that's leverage, isn't it? And that's a massive one for me now. Like before, because I used to train all the time, especially after leaving the army. Like I would still train a lot, because the first thing I did with leaving the army was start CrossFit, and the gym I trained at in CrossFit Glasgow, like they're all keen weightlifters and nut jobs when it comes to fitness. So it's like it's hard not to train, most days of the week. So and they're like sometimes 6 days a week training, and sometimes in there for a couple of hours, doing things. So the training was always there, but nutritionally, eating wise, and like my eating was terrible. My weekend drinking habits were terrible, completely off the rails. And one of the reasons that I started making changes from there was obviously the moods and stuff that I was having around my kids, and the way that was affecting my relationships with the kids. And since I've transformed my eating, my lifestyle, less alcohol and all that kind of stuff, like much just a nicer guy as well. That's another massive bonus along with the improvements in physique. But at this point, my why or my motivation is quite strongly linked to the same as yours, Peter. I don't want to be a hypocrite. I'm constantly thinking about the guys in my Rebirth program, the Inner Circle program that I'm coaching and on calls with on a weekly basis. I'm writing training programs for. Like, these guys are out there putting the work in, and I don't want to be that hypocrite who's giving the advice and giving them the steps to do when I'm not at the very least putting those steps in myself as well, and practicing what I preach. That's massive for me. And I think any of you that are watching this video just need to find your, first and foremost, what's your leverage, what's your why for change, and being very, very clear on that.
Yeah, that's definitely
one of the things that we come up against with some clients is we'll maybe ask, like, what's your goal, what do you want to achieve, that type of thing, and then they'll just say, I just want to lose weight. And you're like, but you don't really just want to lose weight. There's always a kind of deeper reason. There's always a why behind it, but just finding that for yourself. And I think that's where a lot of people struggle, where they just think that they want to be lighter on the scales or a dress size down or whatever, but the actual deeper reason is something a lot stronger. And if they really kind of ask themselves and ask the questions and keep kind of delving in deep, you'll find the why and find the reason behind why they're actually approaching you for coaching or signing up to some weight loss plan or whatever. I think one of your emails I read, and I might have stole a few times, is it the 5 whys, where you just ask yourself, why you doing this?
Yeah.
Get that answer. Why, and just keep asking yourself why, and eventually you're going to come to that deep reason for why.
Yeah, and that's going to help you create the leverage to show up and do things when you don't feel enthusiastic, right? Like we were talking about. Having said that, though, like it's obviously important to be in touch with that leverage and why you're showing up and doing hard things and what you're working towards achieving. But there's also a lot of things that are going to make the journey a hell of a lot easier for you, and almost make it a bit more enjoyable. And there's some things that you need to be considerate of. One of the main things that we do in our Rebirth program, because like I said, all the people that come to coaching with me are men. 99.9% of them are dads with a lot on their plate, little time for themselves, and it's simply just making time. Right? And this is going to be slightly different for everyone. I feel like a lot of people are looking for that plan, the workout plan, the diet plan that's going to help them shred the belly fat and X, Y, Z. But not everybody has the same amount of time. And not everybody, when they start these things, are creating a strategy that's going to work for them, that's practical and realistic. Now, there's a lot of trainers out there that will slate me and criticise me for using the word realistic. You know what I mean? I'm all for setting big goals and stuff, but listen, see if but too many people are going after things without a strategy and without getting realistic about what they can sustain, at least initially. What they can sustain can always grow. But we need to set some foundations, and making time really comes down to, right, sitting down once a week. In our programs, we do the Sunday battle plan, right? Or whenever you sit down, you do a battle plan for the week, and you're planning ahead, scheduling in your workouts. And this is the reason that boot camp classes, gym classes, whether it be I don't know what classes they do at the gyms these days, but there's a timing and a place to be.
None just now.
There's a timing and there's a place to be, right? There's some people watching this video live. I know some people will get it back later that aren't live, but they probably knew this was coming up. They knew what time it was going to be, and it makes it easier for them to show up and watch this. Well, the big problem a lot of people have is they're just, I'm going to start training, but they won't really commit to a time in advance. We have that old saying in the army, prior preparation and planning prevents piss poor performance, and that holds true in every area in life. And for a lot of the guys who have families and wives and partners and stuff and responsibilities to share, time to share in their lives, they'll say, I'm going to start training this week, but they won't have a definitive plan and an agreement with the family when their time's going to be for doing this, so that they don't get bothered and hassled into doing bits and bobs around the house and the garden and all that kind of stuff. So it's like, I'll get round to it. And then when it comes to your other half's always got a better idea for you. Some other tasks that you need to be getting done around the house, and it's just like, I just never find the time. Let them know you're not making the time, right? And that's the truth. So whether you're going to work out 2 times a week, 3 times a week, or 4 times a week. Like, you have to get real about what's practical for you at this moment, knowing everything that you've got coming up over the next couple of weeks. And that might change slightly from week to week. Maybe one week you only get one of those in.
Yeah.
But listen, that's one workout. If you haven't been working out at all, that's like 100% progress on last week.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? And the following week, maybe you get 3. Maybe the following week after that, you get 2. But if you're constantly taking stock and taking aim from week to week and giving yourself that time to make those little plans, you're going to be a hell of a lot more consistent, just because you're penciling that in, you're blocking it off, and everyone in your household knows that's your time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's going to make it so much easier to execute and stay consistent. Would you agree with that, lads?
I would definitely agree that having some form of plan and some structure as best you can will help. Will reduce any friction of getting things done, but then also
I knew there was a butt coming in.
I just for me just now, I would say this last lockdown has, or I don't even know how many we've been in now, but there has to be an element of flexibility and
adaptability,
and also like that way, not being so hard.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to sound like I'm going easy on people, but not being so hard on yourself if
hold on
shit does happen and you plan today 3 sessions but you only got 1 in. You need to take that win at getting that 1 session in, and just whatever's came up and took priority, then dust yourself down and crack on with the next week. And then if you're doing your battle plan the next week, you'll be evaluating the previous week and how things went. And then if it was a valid reason, or you were really just being a bit of a bitch about it, then you can try call yourself out, or if you've got a coach, they'll call you out a wee bit as well. But there is still element of flexibility needs to be in there, especially when the environment that people are in just now as well.
Yeah, I'm glad you jump in with that, mate, because that's relevant for everyone.
Yeah,
you're going to make plans and they're going to go out the window, and it's important to have that ability to be adaptable and just shift left and right.
Aye, definitely. I think so.
No,
I've only really noticed it since Max and Ollie.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like, see if you tell them or you speak and you say your plan. See if I say something out loud, like, I'm going to get up in the morning and go for a walk. I'm going to get up early. They will get up before me. Even if my alarm's at 5:30, they will be up before me that day. It is, obviously it doesn't happen all the time, but it's like, things just happen like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or they do it to me anyway. Or I'm going to go out the night for a wee police or a fire engine.
Is that you then, Paul? Is it?
Aye. Or something like, I'm going to go out the night for a run once they go to sleep, and then you have one of them who just won't go to sleep that night, and he's up till like 10 o'clock or something, and you're like, wow, that's... And then it's... even if I've planned to go in the evening, that can still get kind of messed up a wee bit, and then you just have a wee bit less energy come 10, 11 o'clock, especially after dealing with whatever it might be. And that's what I mean by the flexibility, and just going, well, cool, never got that session in, I'll just go for it the next day or the next day.
Yeah. No plan survives contact with the enemy.
Oh, no. But it's, I feel like that's been a big learning thing throughout lockdown for me anyway. The flexibility.
I would say that as well. I've really noticed that this lockdown that we're in right now. I think the previous, it wasn't a lockdown, but restrictions where the gyms were still open. Training was fine. I was actually really enjoying going to a different gym and and actually using different machines and stuff that I wouldn't normally use in my program. Then obviously gym's closed. I've still got like a decent setup in my house. I've got like a full set of dumbbells from 10s to 25 kilos, so I can still do loads of stuff with what I've got. But it's just different in the house. It's just the environment's different. It's hard to really push yourself and try and get that progressive overload that we're always trying to achieve. Like if you did 12 reps with your 20s last week, trying to get 15 reps this week, it's hard to get that extra wee push to keep going. So I found when I was kind of getting to like week 4, week 5, maybe week 6 into a program, it started getting really hard, and I'd have to like proper dig deep to get through my sessions. And that's when I would start to kind of just say, oh, I'll just do that one tomorrow. Oh, I'll just do that one on Saturday, and I'd kind of start to put it off. So what I've had to do now is have a kind of backup plan. I've completely changed my program from doing 4 or 5 like split sessions per week to doing just a minimum of 3 full body sessions, just because I know that I can get away with doing the kind of bare minimum 3 sessions a week. I can still make progress with that, and I'm less likely to put it off just because I know it's not going to be as difficult. And that's where I'm at.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that, because that I find that I've had to change my strategy in many different situations, and sometimes like if I go through periods where I've got a lot on my plate and stress levels are relatively high, and I'm in a training program where I'm training 4 times a week and making progress, training can very easily become a grind for me. And when I say a grind, I mean like not enjoyable. And when you're not enjoying training, like you're going to be really lucky to see any progress if it's always like that. So I found when that's happened and I've dropped it from 4 training sessions a week to 3, it's always been much better. And so that's usually, rather than doing Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, or Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, 4 sessions a week, just going Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And I found like I've always felt like I'm looking forward to my next workout when I've been doing that. That's quite a key thing for me. Like I've learned over the years, if I'm training in any training program or any time of my life, and I feel like I'm kind of dreading my next workout and I'm not really looking forward to it, I know I need to change something. I need to either shorten the workouts, I need to do a little bit less in order to help me stay consistent. And that's just going to be super relevant right now, but with the conditions we're in with COVID and the restrictions, but also just at any time, in any situation, like you should be finishing your workouts, I think, a little bit excited for the next one. And you should be looking forward to your next one coming up. If you're not, I think something's wrong.
Aye. Well, that's where I kind of got with my last block. I was just like, right, I managed my 20 reps split squats on this. 20
reps of split squats? Fuck that, Peter.
I know. I may have pulled that number out last, but just like really, when you get to that point where it's just a proper tough set, and you know that next week you have to do it again, but do it even better, or do it even more, or more reps, or less rest, or whatever. I stopped actually looking forward to it, and I was dreading it. Like I was dreading coming round to that next session because I knew this is going to kick my ass. So I had to make a change and drop to like three full body numbers.
On that note, Paul, obviously you're out of like us 3, you've got a hell of a lot more on your plate, having the wee ones, Max and Ollie, at the age they're at. I'd be interested for you to share what your strategies have been during lockdown with the restrictions to keep yourself consistent and enjoying training.
I would say if you go back to like the very start, that last year, that first lockdown happened, I think everybody was quite similar, and it had never happened before, and there was a wee bit of, I wouldn't say excitement, but people were more enthusiastic to get stuck in, and I was a wee bit myself. I was like, I'm finishing whenever this lockdown ends, I'm going to be as fit as I can at this point. And that's kind of how my training went. And also, at that time, I was following the No Weak Links program, Andy McKenzie.
Mm-hmm.
And he was really good in the way the sessions and stuff, it was kind of bodyweight stuff because I was at home. Even though we had the gym, it was still, you couldn't go use it and stuff like that. And I was doing full sessions. But as a coach, he was saying it was all broke down into kind of different blocks. If you're struggling, just pick a block and do that day and then move on to the next session. And I feel like I kind of kept a wee bit of that with me throughout the lockdown. And then we got back into the gym and then all the stuff happened with that. But each lockdown, it's adjusted slightly because the two boys have changed. They're getting a wee bit bigger. It's like a year's difference. So they're needing much more attention. They're a lot louder. And it's like it's a 2-bedroom flat. They can open doors. They can bang on doors. They just don't. There's no escaping them in the house, really. So it's changed from... It was harder to go into the room and try and train for 60 minutes or whatever it was to now I've got a pull-up bar and I do press-ups and squats and I can just do them in and around them, which is also quite good because they get to see me doing a bit of training. They try and get involved. They copy some stuff. They add resistance by jumping on your back. They want picked up when you're doing squats, and they grab hold of the pull-up bar and they want to dangle from it and stuff like that. So in that way it's good because they get involved, they get to see stuff. I would say it took away a wee bit of intensity of my sessions in the house. So it's not as intense as when you go into the gym or if I was on my own, but at the same time I take myself outside the house to go for a run, and then I can up my intensity there because I'm out of the house, I'm away from the distractions, and I can just go as hard or as easy as I need to go if I need a break or whatever it is. But in the house, pull-ups, press-ups, squats, I can do around them. If I'm throwing some weights about for 20 minutes, then I jump into the room, and that's the kind of time where I've got a 20-minute block and I just go in and, like you've said, I really pick exercises that I enjoy and I can stick to it.
Bicep curls.
And I keep it as simple as possible, like 3 exercises with the weights, and then just go for it and get as many reps as I can, and then back out and join the fun.
So what would your advice be, Paul? What are the kind of key takeaways from that for any of the guys that are watching this just now and are maybe struggling to be consistent with some exercise and are in a similar situation? They've got young kids and a lot on their plate.
The biggest thing is I'm probably guilty of this myself. You don't actually need to do as much as you think to make progress. Like, you don't need to train every single day. You don't need to be training for an hour or 2 hours every day, and you don't need massive. If you want to get better at back squat, then you need a squat rack and you need some plates and a bar. But if that's not your goal, if you're just looking to get fitter and stronger, then you pretty much got the tools with your body weight. If you grab a bar, and I've got my day sack that I fill up with stuff. It's weighed a ton since we had the gym, so I stick that on. It's extra resistance, and you can get fitter and you can get stronger without having to spend hours each day training. Like, you can actually make solid progress is the biggest thing I would take away from it.
So what I'm getting, mate, is pretty much small daily practice, or at least small frequent practice.
Yeah, definitely. I would say through the biggest thing I've changed would be since I got the pull-up bar. I do loads of pull-ups and press-ups.
Grease the groove.
Grease the groove. Different varieties or variations of them. And I'm smashing them. And I'm seeing progress big time.
And that's a great point on that greasing the groove thing you mentioned there, Peter. One of the things that I encourage the guys in our groups to do, and we get a lot of them doing it, is picking something that they want to improve, whether that's their press ups, whether it's their pull ups or squats or whatever, and practice it daily. And the key word there is practice. It has to be sub maximal. What do I mean by that? You're not training to failure, and that's where a lot of lads go completely wrong. I had an email from a guy recently saying, I started doing this thing. I think he did like 10 press-ups or 5 press-ups and 5 sit-ups, and every day his plan was to do that daily, and every day just add 5, and I think he got to like 100 or something, and he's like, then I just lose motivation. Like, no shit, Sherlock. Anyone's going to run out of motivation for that, especially when you get to a point where your body's just getting so fatigued, like on a daily process, like you're going to crash. And a lot of people think working out is supposed to be like punishment, it's supposed to be like absolutely brutal. No, like the purpose is to train, not strain, or what's the other one? Not annihilate, but stimulate, right? So we're just trying to improve our body somehow. Was that funny, Paul?
You're damn written down, ready to go.
No. I had them written down. No, I didn't. Yeah, I'm just a wall of quotes.
I know.
It's not a punishment. It's not an absolute beasting session. It's practice. It's improvement. And when we treat it like that, we're able to stay more consistent. We enjoy it a hell of a lot more, and we don't get burned out and lose motivation so quick. Because recovery is key as well, isn't it? If you're not recovering from a workout because you're pushing too hard too often, then you don't reap the benefits.
You need to check yourself before you wreck yourself.
He had that written down.
Right out his pocket.
My dog's kicking off somebody's chapping on the door. Yeah, so Peter, what's your strategies now? We're going to finish up soon, but I'd like to get some insights at what Peter's doing. Obviously, it's a bit smoother for you not having 2 young kids, mate, and you're able to train a bit longer. What's it looking like for you just now?
Currently, training is a minimum 3 sessions a week, just full body sessions, squat, hinge, lunge, push pull, at least getting the kind of bare minimum done. I think the biggest thing is just for me right now is just doing exercises I actually enjoy and not trying to do anything fancy, nothing too crazy. Just bench press and bicep curls every session, 10 by 10. That's it.
Yeah.
No, just full body session, doing exercises that I actually enjoy, and just not try to put too much pressure on myself to get that progressive overload every week or every session, and just go back to actually enjoying training. And probably the thing that's actually kicked in this week is having like a backup plan as well. So on Tuesday, I was supposed to do one of my full body sessions. I just didn't feel like doing it. So I took myself out for a wee 20-minute run. I felt better afterwards. Didn't feel great doing it because I haven't ran for a good while, but afterwards, got the endorphins going, felt good, had more energy, and I got my win for the day. So just, I'd say choosing exercises you like, not putting so much pressure on yourself, and then probably having a backup plan is a good idea. Like having a kind of go-to plan if you don't really feel like doing something else. Yeah.
So I to finish this up and summarise, I think one of the big key takeaways here is enjoyability, if that's a word, and having something that you can enjoy, something that's going to be fun. And to be fair, like right now, for the past maybe 6 weeks to 8 weeks, like I have been training 4 times a week, and I've been all right on that because there's nothing else happening. Like this winter, not doing anything else. Even the walks with my dogs and stuff have decreased. So I've actually felt quite good just training 4 times a week. And at the moment, that's probably going to change though. The weather's starting to get a bit better. We had some sunshine this morning. A couple of days ago, we had some sunshine in Glasgow. Everybody was buzzing. It was like taps off in the streets. But as the weather's starting to get better and the lockdown restrictions ease off, like I'm going to be doing a lot more hiking and things like getting outside and doing things I really enjoy. So my time spent in the gym is going to be less,
Yeah.
It's great to train and get stronger and improve the shape of our bodies and stuff, but also taking fitness to places and things that you actually love and enjoy doing.
Mm-hmm.
Never sacrifice that and always have that as a backup. Like when those days where you're just like, I can't face a workout just now. Get active, go and do something you enjoy, even if that's just getting out to the parks.
Going for a walk is brilliant. There's no downsides of going for a walk instead of doing your bench press or whatever it is. So
definitely.
Yeah, all right. Thanks very much, Peter, Paul, for joining us, and thanks for you guys tuning in. Hope you got something from this. If you have any questions on any of this stuff, please post them in the comments, and we will reply as soon as we can. We will be back in with another live show next week, probably next Thursday. Time is TBC. But any of you boys watching this, if you do need some help with your training, your nutrition, if you're trying to get in shape and get on the right track, I've got the 20-day rebirth program coming up. That is starting on Sunday, the 28th of February. This is for busy dads aged 30 and above who want to transform their energy, get healthier, learn to eat better without dieting, without strict food rules, and build exercise into your life without it taking over, and help you get on the right track to getting in shape. Reach out and send me a message if that's something you need some help with. Other than that, thanks very much for tuning in. Thanks, boys.
See you later.
Go steady.
Been a pleasure.